Protest enters day 2 in Abuja, Lagos, Rivers and other states. Despite 24 hours curfew, protests continue in Dutse, Jigawa state capital. Improvised explosive device kills 1, injures 11 in Maiduguri. And away from Nigeria, Turkey marks a day of national mourning for slain Hamas leader. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Sumaya Abubakar. And now the details. Nigerians taking part in the nationwide hunger protest say they will not stop until the federal government meets their demands. Speaking with Trust TV's Noel Samson, who was monitoring the exercise, which is now on its second day in the FCT, some residents said they will continue hitting the streets until day 10 to press home their demands. The report.
Before, maybe like that I be big, but now because of discounts over, see where I come stealing like that.
The day 2 protest started at the Berger roundabout, where the protesters were seen chanting different solidarity songs and carrying placards with different inscriptions. Not too long into the protest, the police started firing tear gas at protesters who were via a court order asked to restrict their protests to the National Stadium, Abuja. At the stadium, the protesters alluded the biting economic policies which have led to the pervasive hunger in the land as reasons for the protest and vowed not to stop until the president meets their demands.
We're here for the day 2 of the Days of Rage, the End Bad Governance protest in Nigeria. It's simply to make very fundamental request. One, which is the reversal of fuel subsidy. You all agree that fuel subsidy removal has done us a whole lot of bad as a people and a nation. It has heightened our hardship, the hunger is unprecedented, and this needs to be reversed. I understand in the subsidy regime there's a whole lot of criminality, but you don't want to kill corruption and kill the citizens in part of it. You should have analyzed and understood how many million liters of fuel is consumed in Nigeria. Kill the corruption in the subsidy regime and not Nigerians.
If you practice democracy, you know that the right to protest is a fundamental right, even in the African Charter of the Peoples and Human Rights, in the United Nations Charter, and in the Nigerian Constitution, where you say if you go to chapter 4, you have section 39 that talks about freedom of speech, section 40 about freedom of association, section 41 about freedom of movement. So the government must know that whatever they are using the security agencies to do to oppress the peaceful nature of this protest, and even sponsoring co-protesters, for days before this protest, there were people protesting against this protest. Nothing happened to them. There were people protesting that this protest should not happen. Nothing happened to them. Now protest is happening and there's something going on. There's so much manpower being deployed. If that same manpower has been deployed against banditry, our farmlands would have been saved. So we can't continue to deploy manpower negatively. The Nigerian Constitution is a fundamental right that must be obeyed by those in government. Those in government, we are not beholden to them. Nigerian people are not supposed to be genuflecting every time they see those in government. It is not the government who should be afraid if there is a democratic election.
We are here, as citizens, to actually, keep to our promise that we are going to protest from August 1st to 10th. That is, if government complies with our demands. If they don't comply, we actually continue the protest.
I will also beg my northern brothers and sisters that they should calm down with the rates they have vandalized this government property, because I will still use this money to go and repair these things. So please stop burning police stations. It wouldn't help us. We are coming out in our numbers to protest against bad governance. We are coming out in our numbers to protest against the inflation rate. We are coming down. There is nothing that I've seen this government do that has pleased me since this government entered. So I am begging the president, come and address us in 24 hours, please.
The protesters marched towards the Eagle Square, but were stopped by security personnel before getting there. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Hundreds of security operatives have been deployed across Kano State to enforce curfew as properties worth millions of naira were looted from Thursday's protest. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that residents are forced to remain indoor as businesses and places of work remain closed. His report.
This is Murtala Mohammed Way in Kano, one of the most busiest streets in the state. But it has now been deserted, with only presence of security men enforcing compliance with the curfew order.
It
was unfortunate that youth came out yesterday instead of protesting. They ended up stealing people's property, destroying government property. You will see somebody carrying air conditioner, fan, chair. This is the NCC Digital Park, meant to instill digital skills for youth in Kano State, that was completely destroyed and the ICT equipment looted.
My brother, I cannot talk because this thing affected everybody business so much. Me, I particularly am staying at inside the market, Sabonge. It's my wife that is selling this okpa. So now I cannot go anywhere. No food to eat. My wife must now take care of the family because if I go out before I also I get what we eat for us.
Shops along Zaria Road were broken into and food items worth hundreds and thousands were taken away as the protesters equally stormed Audubako Secretariat, where they destroyed and looted government properties.
The point is that those in authority, they don't care. Even these protesters, again, some of them, I say some of the big men have left the country. Not the solution. I get my point. But our message to the government that they should do something about it, especially Mr. President, because he's supposed to have come out and address the nation since yesterday.
For Kano residents, the protest took an unfortunate, but it was meant to alert the government on the current economic hardship, accusing the government of negligence and incompetence.
From the day one of the entering, subsidy, he didn't plan of anything. He removed subsidy. But the meaning is that they want to kill the whole Nigeria. Yes. If you want to remove subsidy, you need to remove subsidy, yes, with brain. You can't just voice out that I remove subsidy and you don't have any plan.
Kano State Governor Abba Kabir had on Thursday declared a 24-hour curfew to prevent further breakdown of law and order arising from the hunger protest and escalating high cost of living among Nigerians. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
The number of arrests from the looting that marred the protest against hunger and hardship in Kano State by the police has risen to 326. The command spokesperson, Abdullahi Haruna Kiyawa, made this known during a press briefing and parading of suspects held on Friday. He said the command wishes to address and clarify the recent deliberate false and mischievous news circulating on social media platforms concerning the photos of suspects and exhibits involved in the destruction and looting of public and private properties under the guise of planned #End Bad Governance nationwide protest. He said contrary to the misleading, unverified social media reports that some of the images were posted sometimes in 2011 are false and baseless. These despicable acts are circulating attempt and calculating attempt by enemies of peace to tarnish the reputable image of the Nigerian police. The CP commended the Kano State government for prompt intervention of imposing the 24-hour curfew. He calls on parents, guardians, and the law-abiding people of the state who saw their wards with looted properties to voluntarily return the same to the nearest police station. The Jigawa state government has declared a 24-hour curfew from midnight on Thursday till further notice. Governor Umar Namadi, in a nationwide or statewide broadcast, says the curfew is to nip in the bud any unforeseen distractions that may trail the nationwide protest being infiltrated by hoodlums in the state. The statewide curfew, which began with immediate effect, will however be relaxed between 12:30 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. on Friday to enable residents to attend the Friday mosques nearest to them. The governor says during this 2-hour window, no one should use vehicle.
Today we woke up with a series of protests that is not part of our culture and that is not part of our tradition. And we feel that this protest will not be the solution to what people are demanding or asking for. We are all Muslims and we believe that there is nobody in this world that can put hardship on you. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's only Allah that can rescue you from that hardship. Therefore, protest is not a solution and it will not be a solution. We realize that how people use young, small boys to achieve their objective of vandalizing and stealing people's property. This is not part of our culture, and this is not part of our tradition. Therefore, we feel as a government, we should not allow this thing to continue unabated. As a result of that, we are introducing a 24-hour curfew in Jigawa State.
Meanwhile, despite 24 hours curfew imposed by the Jigawa state government, hundreds of youth continue with the protests against hardship for the second day in some parts of Dutse, the capital of Jigawa state. Currently, combined team of security agencies are battling with protesters around Zai area of the city to block them from going to the commercial area and other major public buildings and stores. According to one of the residents of Zai quarters, thousands of youth who were chanting different slogans, including inviting military to take over the nation, have resisted the tear gas thrown to disperse them by the security. However, at Shuarin area in an outskirts of Dutse, thousands of youth have regrouped and continue with demonstration for the second day. The protesters who are attempting to get into the state capital center are blocked by heavy security who barricaded the road and heavily tear gassed the area. An eyewitness in Shuarin area has confirmed that youths, including underage boys, were arrested by the police.
This is reporting live in Buhari area council. This is movement. Hunger protests are taking off here in Dutse area. The hunger protest is live.
In Bauchi State, the state government has directed a thorough investigation into the viral video clip showing some security guard mounted at the government house gate physically assaulting a person with disability during the Thursday's End Bad Governance protest in Bauchi. The viral video showed a man with disability on his wheelchair and another person with placards being physically assaulted by 3 police officers in their black camouflage uniform and another one in suit and tie. The clip also contains a voice of the victim saying, "See us going about our peaceful protest. They came and stopped us." Reacting to the brutality in a statement on Friday, the special advisor to Governor Bala Mohammed, Mukhtar Gidadu, said that government is deeply concerned by the recent online video of an infraction involving a person with disability and security personnel at a cordoned area in the government house on Thursday. Gidadu explained that Bala Mohammed does not condone any form of violence or misconduct by law enforcement officers attached to the government house or any government personnel. Protesters on Friday converged at the Gani Fawehimi Park in Ojota, Lagos State for the second day of the nationwide #End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest. The demonstration, which commenced on August 1st, 2024, seeks to bring attention to the struggles of Nigerians and demand reform from the government.
The mass of our people are here to express their grievances against the state. The point is that we cannot continue like this. No matter what you do, mass poverty is a reality. You cannot beat us and say that you don't want us to cry.
Demonstration is done in a public domain, not an isolated domain where they will kill us. We don't want to be killed. We want to be heard. We want to be heard. We want to be heard.
Who knows cannot be checkmating protesters. Taking responsibility of the police who were meant to protect protesters. Why can we be living in such a country like that when there is no law anymore?
Some hoodlums, some thugs pass through here now. They are armed. They pass through the police. They went inside there to attack our leaders, the leaders of the protest, our comrades. They are inside there attacking them now.
I just want to say that young Nigerians have gathered here peacefully again. They gathered here yesterday peacefully. Did not hurt anybody. Even the Nigerian police commended them. Even the governor himself commended them. And they came here very early today, peacefully, coordinating themselves cordially. They're not stating their demands, their rights to enjoy this country. Like the people at the top are enjoying the country. It's just a simple demand. Make this country work for us. It's so shocking that the Nigerian police watchdogs try to infiltrate this gathering, try to hunt innocent people. It's so unfair. This country belongs to us.
Still in Lagos, the nationwide hunger protest that began this Thursday, August 1st, has resulted in the shutdown of all businesses, particularly in the Agege area of Lagos State. Vehicular movement was also interrupted, including operations at the Agege main market, as all shops remain on the lock and key. Victoria Chukolu has more in this report.
Agege area of Lagos State, one of the most populated areas in the state, is now looking empty and deserted. The expressway is also empty, with only few private vehicles on the road, as residents resorted to trekking long distances to their destinations. Some traders and shop owners in Agege spoke on the effect of the protest on their business operations.
Discovered that they said there is going to be a protest. That's why most of the people are not open and they did not see anything happen. You can see all the shops are closed. Maybe people are afraid of what is going to happen. So that's it.
It's likely to be people are afraid because they don't know what is going to be the outcome of the protest. Though the protesters are not yet around here yet. But people want to see how the matter will be before the day will have run out. So that's why people are operating. They don't open shop. There's no movement. People want to see how far yet.
Everybody's afraid of what is happening. Nobody wants to open because of what happened to EndSARS. Not happening again. Because we lost so many things in EndSARS. So many of us lost many things in EndSARS. So we don't want the condition to happen again. That is why everybody's locked, not open.
At the main park, commercial vehicle owners have parked their vehicles as there are no passengers, causing the transport business to come to a standstill. Commercial bus drivers who are idling around the park, waiting for passengers, share their perspectives on the hunger protest.
It's because of the protest that is going on in this country today. As you can see, everywhere is there. So a lot of people didn't come outside today. I don't know if they are afraid of the protest, so I believe that is why people do not come outside.
But it's okay now. So what they will not allow the Oolong to take it over. The process is okay. We are okay with it now. Let everybody protest. Let me protest for our oncoming generation to know what is happening in this country. Because hunger is everywhere. You cannot tolerate anymore.
We are not getting passenger because people hope. They thought there is protest. So people did not come outside because everybody is fighting for his life.
On the whole, the protesters, as well as those not protesting, are urging the federal government to take necessary actions to reduce the price of fuel, which is seen as the primary driver of soaring food prices in the country. Adding that, if that is done, the situation would have been addressed to a large extent.
In Borno State, the police command has said that an improvised explosive device in another attack in Maiduguri resulted in the death of one male victim, with 11 others sustaining various degrees of injuries. The police commissioner, Yusuf Lawal, disclosed this on Friday while providing a situation report to the Nigerian people. He said the incident occurred during a protest against bad governance at Deribe Junction near the federal government girls' college, Mongono, annex Bulum Kutu area, Maiduguri. Lowell said that the injured victims were taken to the state specialist hospital, Maiduguri, for treatment, while the corpse was given for autopsy. He said that the police swiftly deployed personnel of the Explosive Ordnance Device Base 13, who probed the scene and rendered the area around a filling station safe. Moving on to more stories. The protesters in the ancient city of Daura stormed roads leading to the residence of former President Muhammadu Buhari, burning tires, calling for restoration of fuel subsidy and improved living conditions for Nigerians. The protesters, mostly youths, are saying their lives have been miserable without proper education, healthcare, and above all, abandoned amidst abject poverty, with thousands out of school children roaming the streets of northern Nigeria. Abdullahi Yamadi completes the report.
They said
All they are asking for is improved security, living wage for civil servants, and an end to corruption in all government institutions. Though no government official responded to the grievances of the protesting youth who converged at the Emas Palace Daura and the former president's residence, they were, however, confronted with intense resistance from armed security operatives. Back in Katsina, police and other security personnel are still keeping vigil, patrolling major streets, guarding public buildings to prevent a repeat of the ugly situation that happened on the first day of the protest. At the moment, human rights organizations in Katsina are raising voices over the alleged arrest, beating, humiliation, and the breach of fundamental rights of dozens of protesters by armed security forces on Thursday, an allegation debunked by the Commissioner of Police.
Is it true that some police officers were wounded?
None.
During this protest?
None. For now, I have not heard anything from any of our sector commanders whether any police has been wounded.
CP Abubakar Musa, however, confirmed burning of a vehicle belonging to the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps and yet to be identified NSCDC personnel who sustained fracture during the Thursday's protest, beside burning APC's office and looting a warehouse in Dusima town, Katsina State.
It's only in Dusima, I think they have touched APC office and they have looted fertilizer in the warehouse of the local government.
The protest has, however, disrupted business activities across the major towns and cities of Katsina State, with traders counting losses after the first day of demonstration against hunger. Katsina Central Market and other shops as well as shopping malls in the Asian city remained under lock and key for close to 48 hours for fear of the unknown. From Thursday, when the protest began, traders were forced to shut down their shops for the fear of the unknown. And this resulted to so many losses, even though security operatives have taken over the situation. Shops still remain closed for close to 48 hours now. So we are counting losses at the moment. In the meantime, Katsina State government has imposed 24-hour curfew on Dusima town to avert the escalation of public and private properties destruction. The government has also imposed 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew on Katsina and other local government areas of the state to restrain protesting youth from further attacks and looting of properties. Katsina residents are optimistic that if the federal government restore fuel subsidy, security of lives and property, reopen land borders, subsidy on diesel, among others, Nigeria will be a better place to live. Abdullahi Izumayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Away from Katsina, normalcy has returned to Jalingo, Taraba State capital, and in all the 16 local government areas of the state as protesters are off the streets. Second day of the nationwide protests in Jalingo, the protesters are off the streets and everywhere is calm. Findings show that all markets, motor parks and shops are fully back to business. Vehicles and tricycles are on the road conducting their business, but all commercial banks are closed. Reports said residents are going about their normal businesses. A resident of Maihula town in Bala local government area of the state, Musa Yakubu, said no protest took place in their area. However, Army, Police, Civil Defense Corps and members of Taraba State Marshal were seen in strategic places to maintain peace. Vehicular movement has been restricted along major roads in Zaria by the End Bad Governance protesters. As the protests entered the second day, the youth resolved to place themselves at strategic locations on the major road to prevent movement of vehicles across the main roads. Reports said the main road from Zaria City to Kofarudoka to Agoro Junction have been blocked. The road from Kofarudoka roundabout to Magaji Junction have also been barred from vehicular movement. A drama nearly ensued as the youth tried to block army vehicles from movement at the Kofarudoka roundabout, but the intervention of some leaders in protest saved the situation and the vehicles were allowed to pass without hitch. Shops and malls also remained closed under lock and key as all marketplaces across the town. As the nationwide protest enters second day, the exercise continues to gain momentum in Jos, the Plateau State capital. Trust TV reports that residents in the state have participated in the ongoing protests organized to voice concerns over high cost of living and insecurity in the country. Ado Musa reports.
This is the second day of the protest, and protesters have gathered at the All Airport Junction to revoice their concern over the high cost of living and insecurity in the country. And they have been here as early as 8 a.m. this morning, and they have returned to this very venue to continue with the protest. So let us hear what they have been saying.
Our cries are very simple. Let the price of PMS be reversed. Let food and the prices be also be checked or reversed, because as it stands now, Indomie that people eat before now at the back of their yard, not even in their house, they cannot afford the Indomie.
Yesterday I'm here and today I'm also here. Our problem is the first scarcity, first subsidy. Food, in fact, we have a lot of problems, more than enough that cannot be mentioned. The government have to know that they are there for us, not for themselves. So in any way, they have to listen to what we are saying. They have to listen to our cries. They don't have to do what they want to do. They have to do what we want. They are our servants.
Insecurities, subsidy removal, and also education. Our education, most of us have dropped out of school because of this situation. They removed subsidy, and there was no room for any means for the subsidy removal for us to survive on. And education, the hike of school fees and the rest of it, transportation to go to school is a problem right now.
As the protest continues to fight for a common goal, it has brought together Christians and Muslims in the state, with Christians shielding their Muslims counterpart to perform their Juma'at prayers during the protest. Some of the organizers said hunger has no religion.
The Plateau people had proved to Nigerians that it is possible to live in peace and harmony. It is also possible to embrace each other. We have disgraced the politicians who have been marketing religion and ethnicity. We have embraced crisis entrepreneurs who use this primordial sentiment to try to divide the people and deny them the progress.
All right, there was every persuasion and every pressure not to be here. But I am out here to leave my comfort and convenience to make sure that we secure the future for every youth. So every youth should come out for the remaining 8 days and join the Muslims and the Christians. You can see all of us here, and we are partying, we are standing, we are praying, and we are also advocating for right governance.
The nationwide protest, scheduled to last for 10 days, will continue Saturday according to the organizers of the exercise. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
In Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, youth who are exercising their fundamental human right to protest held a brief rally at the Moshood Abiola Stadium in the state capital, the designated rally center for the state capital. Armed with various placards, they expressed their anger and frustration over the hardship in the country. Trust TV's Abbas Ibrahim Dalibi now reports.
A part of this handful protesters gathered here, the situations remain calm as road seems disastered, except for some few vehicles playing the road. Also, business activities were brought to a halt while security operatives were deployed to strategic locations in the state to forestall any breakdown of law and order. The law turnout is also a fear by residents of a possible violence by protesters who have vowed to occupy strategic places in the state for the protest. Banks and other commercial institutions also remain under lock and key. Reports from Shagamu and Ijebu-Ode and Ota revealed that the situation is calm. The State Commissioner of Police, Abiodu Alamutu, while on an on-spot assessment of the situation, warned officers against unprofessional conduct.
There is no indication of any protest as we speak. But it is important to note that late yesterday evening, a court order was received restricting protesters to certain locations. For Abeokuta Metropolis, Moshood Abiola Stadium is the designated point, and that's why you see massive deployment here. We have to respect citizens' rights. Our reservation is we don't want miscreants to hijack this protest. But good enough, most of the organizers, they have seen reason in the untimely nature of conducting protests at this point in time in our country. And for that reason, most of them are voluntarily back off from being part of the protest.
He also asked youth to comport themselves in a peaceful manner, just as he admonished residents to continue to be law-abiding and go about their businesses without fear of any threat. From Abeokuta in Ogun State, Abbas Ibrahim Alibi, Trust TV.
As the hunger protest enters day 2, the protesters converged again at Freedom Park in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, on Friday. The peaceful procession moved around major streets in Osogbo and terminated at the Olaiya intersection, where protesters observed Juma'at service. Hamid Oyegbade files in the report.
From the Freedom Park to Fagbowesa, Odiolowo, and Jaleyemi areas in Osogbo, Osun State capital, the procession was peaceful and the protesters conducted themselves in orderly manner. The protesters moved from the Olaiya intersection and Muslims among them observed Juma'at service, and their Christian counterparts formed circle around them to guard them. The protesters vowed to continue with the protest until government yields to their demands.
The protest started yesterday, and it has been going on peacefully, especially in Osun State here. And the momentum keep moving with the fact that the masses, the entire masses in Osun State, are much interested in the protest.
You know what can in Abuja, but through the agitation, I'm very sure the government will change the direction by reducing all the petrol prices and the food. I'm very sure. Like in Osun today, there were those who were at the barricade yesterday who are not here. And there were those who are not at the barricade yesterday who are here. So what that means is that there's going to be mixed crowd. Then again, it becomes important and imperative to say that, well, while the organizers are resolute, the number is likely to continue to increase by the day. And it is hope that government will listen.
I believe the government should listen to us due to the social and civil unrest. So I believe the government should listen to the people of Nigeria, making out their demands, telling them this is what we want and this is what we don't want.
The protesters in Osogbo said they would continue the protest at the Freedom Park tomorrow. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
The police in Akwa Ibom State on Friday, the second day of the End SARS or End Bad Governance protest, opened canisters of tear gas to dislodge a small group of protesters who had gathered at the Ibom Plaza, Uyo, the state capital. The protesters, who were over 15, carried placards with various inscriptions such as End Bad Governance in Nigeria, End Hunger in Nigeria, End Bad Governance in Akwa Ibom State, and Reduce Fuel Price to 100 Naira, among others. The protesters were singing and chanting solidarity songs when the police opened the canisters on them and drove them off to Unity Park along Udo-Doma Avenue, the approved venue of the protest. The Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center has called for the protection of protesters amid the growing concern that the demonstration have been hijacked by criminal elements and political actors with nefarious intentions. In a statement on Friday in Abuja, the executive director of CISLAC, Awal Rafsanjani, condemned the hijack of the peaceful protest in some places. While calling for the protection of the protesters, he urged them not to destroy properties and public infrastructure. Awal expressed deep concern over the deteriorating security situation and the influence of non-state actors in several states, including Kano. He said the situation observed through CISLAC's Situation Room indicated that security operatives were being influenced by political interference linked to local rivalries, leading to inadequate protection of peaceful protesters. CISLAC boss emphasized that the government must refrain from politicizing security measures, particularly in Kano, and prioritizing to the protection of lives and properties. Protesters in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, on Friday converged on Pleasure Park in continuation of their protest against the country's economic hardship. The protest, which began on August 1, 2024, aimed to draw the government's attention to the citizens' plight. Nigerians are using the #End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest, which erupted in several states on Thursday, to express their frustration and demand change. On day 2 of the End Bad Governance protests, Yanagwa, the Bayelsa State capital, is quiet. The Melford-Okilo Road, which witnessed the main activities of the protest on day 1, is empty and quiet, with motorists and commuters as well as residents going about their normal businesses. Trust TV's correspondent, Friday Ebimobowe Peters, tells us more.
Neither End Bad Government protesters nor pro-tinubu demonstrators in any part of the state as the protest enters the second day. Like the first day, security operatives mounted strategic point to quell any violence while continuing their patrol on the major roads.
They say that we should not go out there. Our government said that we should not go out to protest. That is why.
Actually speaking, I'm not happy. Because of what they're passing through, the hunger is serious. Yes, things are difficult to people. See, coming in. I used to buy this Gary. Too bad. Now this is I buy the faster. You see, it will tell you that things are really difficult. You see, with the people now, there is hunger in the land. So I'm not happy. You see, so I really wanted to protest, but the power that be says not protest. So we have to pay them. That's why their protest.
So before, cost out of that was 500, now it's 3,000 naira. Even plantain, before 500 naira, 400 naira, but now 1,000, 2,000 naira. Even cost out of beans, before was 3,000 naira, but now it's 7,000 naira. So government will look into it.
Some motor parks and markets, like the popular Polo Market, were bustling with trading activities as there were also free flow of traffic in Yanagwa, unlike the first day.
100 naira. Now how much? 1,000. What have you 1,200? Now not be watch television. I don't know if you do anything. No light from my house. Only darkness. When I bring price under, now is sheep. No right sheep. Maybe sheep. Each one they buy 17 naira. Now 200.
Today, all of us are suffering. Both either you vote APCO, you vote LUPO, you vote PDPO, all of us are suffering it. Now they say that Igbo people will come and join them. We say no, let them do the protest, let them continue protesting that place. We Igbos, we are not protesting.
Tombia Runabout, the designated point of gathering of the protesters, remained deserted as none of protesters showed up. From Yanagwa, Friday, Ebimobowe Peter, Trust TV News.
Protests in Lagos has shut down many businesses and commercial activities. At the popular Lagos Abattoir, the situation is the same as the slaughter and animal market did not operate due to the ongoing protests. Trust TV's Abbas Ibrahim Lalibi reports.
There was no commercial activities at popular Lagos Abattoir, where at least 1,500 cows were usually slaughtered on daily basis. Since the protests began on Thursday, no animals has been slaughtered. Mansur Muhammad is a butcher. He said the situation has affected their means of livelihood.
To kasancewan wannan zanga-zanga da ake ta magana.
The traders and butchers in the market were forced to idle away, while some others resorted to playing football. Abdurrauf Suleiman, another trader, disclosed that the protest has paralyzed business activities in the market.
Sometimes if there is market, you can see maybe more than 50 trailers enter this place, cows from north. Due to this protest, so like our people from north now are afraid to food their
Traders from the north are avoiding transporting animals to the market due to fear of unknown. Tahir Jibrin is the youth leader of the traders in the market. He said many of them resolved to play football as they see no reason to participate in the protest. We resolved to play football in our market since the market is not operating and we have no reason to go out and protest. On his part, Abdullahi Hussein disclosed that the aim of the protest in Lagos has been achieved. We are happy that protest has paralyzed business activities here in Abattoir. Government is making revenue of not less than 10 million naira on daily basis. Now that it was stopped by the protest, they will listen to the protesters and make life better for the masses. While the protests affect many businesses in Lagos, it is not the same in Abeokuta, Ogun State capital, where people were out in their various places of works and market. Abbas Ibrahim Dalibi, Trust TV, Lagos.
The Senate has repealed and reenacted the 2024 Appropriations Act. The amendment was made during an emergency plenary sitting which cut short the senior lawmakers' recess, which has or was supposed to end on September 17th. Trust TV's Senate correspondent Sagir Ibrahim has the details.
Leader of the Senate, Okpeyemi Bamidele, who led the debate on the executive bill, stated that the amendment became necessary following critical observations made by the Directorate of Legal Services of the National Assembly.
This is to enable the federal government to embark on very important projects that will inflate and rejig the economy, especially the Renewal Hope infrastructural development across the country.
It is important that we moderate, because currently what we have is at 5%, and what I am seeing here is about 15%. So I would rather we moderate it to 10% for all the right reasons of physical discipline.
We must not necessarily be subjecting the economy or the system to only ways and means. The capital market is there as a vehicle for government to issue bond for infrastructural development.
The amendment harmonizes the 2024 Appropriations Act as well as the 2024 Supplementary Appropriations Bill as one, to run till December 2024. Consequently, the bill, which has now passed third reading, provides 1.7 trillion naira for statutory transfers, 8.2 trillion for debt servicing, 11.2 trillion for recurrent expenditure, 13.7 trillion for capital expenditure, and a total appropriation of 35.055 trillion naira. Also, the August plenary moved to amend the CBN Act to increase the Apex Bank's total advances to the federal government from 5% to 15%. In the end, the lawmakers agreed to change the figure to 10%. After the back and forth, the bill was amended and scaled third reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Central Bank of Nigeria's Act, Cap C4, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, to increase the total advances of the Central Bank of Nigeria to the federal government of Nigeria from 5% to a maximum of 10%, and for other matters connected thereto, 2024, third reading taken and passed.
Meanwhile, the Senate Ad Hoc Committee, saddled with the responsibility of investigating the ways and means advances by the Central Bank of Nigeria to the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, is yet to submit its findings to the Senate. The committee, which was inaugurated by the Senate President in March, is expected to probe the expenditure of the 30 trillion naira advances made to the previous administration by the Apex Bank. It was initially given a time frame of 6 weeks. However, not much has been heard concerning updates on the situation ever since. From the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Away from Nigeria, flags were flown at half-mast across Turkey and at its missions overseas on Friday as the country marks a day of national mourning for Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh. He was assassinated on Tuesday in the Iranian capital, which Tehran and other countries in the region have blamed on Israel. Israel has not confirmed or denied its involvement in his death. It had pledged to kill him and other Hamas leaders over the group's 7th October attack on Israel last year, in which some 1,200 Israelis died and more than 250 were taken hostage. On Friday, Israel summoned the deputy Turkish ambassador for a reprimand after Turkey's embassy in Tel Aviv lowered its flag. In Ghana's capital, Accra, a pioneering recycling plant is turning waste into wealth, generating $20 million annually. The Accra Compost and Recycling Plant processes just a fraction of the city's 2,000 tons of daily waste, producing fertilizer and recyclable materials. Members of the ECOWAS Parliament have visited this facility, hailing it as a model for the region to tackle the daunting plastic waste management challenge. The report.
This is the $20 million Accra Compost and Recycling Plant. It was designed to receive and process 2,000 tons of waste from Accra. On this field visit, members of the ECOWAS Parliament Joint Committee on Agriculture, Environment and Natural Resources, Energy and Mines, and the Committee on Infrastructure have come here for a first-hand look at how this plant turns waste into wealth by processing just a fraction of the waste that comes from parts of Accra.
This plant was set up to receive salt and then process municipal solid waste. That's the waste generated from our homes and marketplaces. When received here, we recover the various fractions, add value to them, and then send them back into the system for reuse rather than sending them to the landfill. So basically, this is the overview of the setup here.
Senator Ali Ndume is the co-chair of this committee. He seems excited by the feat achieved by this plant, a feat he believes should be replicated across the region.
Part of the outcome of this delocalized meeting is to appreciate the concern on our environment and also to propose legislation to this effect.
A best practice where government cannot undertake 100% of the costs and analysis of such a company, they can subsidize the company that have gone ahead. It's a best practice. At the end of the day, it can even be converted to PPP. I'm talking of public-private partnership, which will go a long way to bring sustainable development.
This integrated and recycling plant makes $20 million annually, in addition to another $8 million it receives from the government for handling a fraction of Accra's waste.
The material actually comes in as a raw material, and then it leaves our premises as a product. In instances where we are not able to finish the product, like in the case of compost, the plastics are semi-processed and they become the raw material for plastic manufacturing companies locally.
The scale of West Africa's plastic waste management challenge is daunting, and it will take a partnership between government and the private sector to tackle it. For context, the World Bank estimates that Ghana will need $1.3 billion to finance a comprehensive system to eradicate plastic pollution and achieve zero leakage of plastics into the country's ocean by 2040.
In sports, Favour Ofili did not participate in the women's 100-meter heat at the Paris Olympics, which started on Friday. Recall that the 22-year-old sprinter and Louisiana State University student revealed that she was not included among the country's representatives for the Olympics. Sadly, Ofili did not make it for the women's 100-meter heat despite Nigeria's appeal for her to be registered. Only 2 Nigerian athletes will now compete in the women's 100-meter heat. Rosemary Chukwuma hit 5 and Tima Godbless hit 7. Chukwuma will be running from lane 5 in hit 5. She's up against Ewa Swabodia and Dina Asher Smith, while Godbless will be racing from lane 3 in hit 7. She's up against Jima Bass and Kambuchi. And with that, we wrap up Trust TV News Hour. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentaries. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks so much for watching. Good night.